Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, Sagittarius. I'm just going to start with the overall theme of the reading, which is separation. And I wanted to start with that because I feel like that kind of sets the scene for what kind of connection you're dealing with. I feel like you're dealing with a person that you are not like currently actively involved in or involved with, or there is like a distance here, whether that's an emotional separation, like a physical separation, a breakup, I don't know. But I do definitely feel like there is distance between you and this person. Now, on your side of this connection, you have unfinished business with the Two of Swords. So I feel like you feel like there is unfinished business here. I feel like you feel like maybe the separation happened too soon, or you feel like maybe you're owed an apology or an explanation. I feel like you're in this place of not really knowing how to handle this connection, but feeling as if it's not done. Like maybe wanting it to be done, maybe not, I don't know. But just like there's this looming feeling of like this person still being in your energy. This person has healing with the Nine of Pentacles. So here's where I feel like things get a little bit tricky, because I feel like this person does desire what this connection provides. I feel like there is this energy of this person, wanting to be in this connection. However, they have this healing card. And the first thing that I was kind of drawn to with this card was the connecting the dots here, and how one side is connected, but the other side is not, almost as if they're healing, both of these cards give unfinished, right? Both of these cards are kind of speaking of this energy of something being unfinished, but almost as if their unfinished healing is led to the connection capping out, like where it did. Almost as if you guys got to a point in this connection that it was like this person was incapable because they hadn't reached a certain level of healing to be able to handle. But in between the connection, you do have mirroring with the Three of Swords. So I do feel like there's been some heartbreak, some pain associated with this separation and with what's been happening in this connection in general. But this mirroring card is interesting because, all of our connections to a certain extent are a reflection of something going on within us. But sometimes we do run into people in our lives that mirror back are like just the deeper parts of ourselves, so that we can bring those parts to the surface and heal those parts. But I don't know like what the full story is, obviously, right? That's for you to know. But I do feel like there is, and this seems to kind of be the theme this week, like there's more than meets the eye. Like it's not so black and white, even though it might feel like that. So let's see, Sagittarius, you have unfinished business with the Two of Swords. This is Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person that you're dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. Because with this Two of Swords, there's this energy of feeling like you have a decision to make, or like being undecided almost. Sagittarius' side of the connection. Yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, there's the separation. Okay, let me get more on this Two of Cups in reverse. The Nine of Cups and the Devil. Ooh. Okay, so this connection might have a little bit of a attachment associated with it. I feel like you saw a lot of potential in this connection, what it could be, what this person could be, what, you know, the connection could be if this person reached their potential. And I feel like that, holding on to that is what kept you hanging on. Now, I talk about, you know, investing in connections for potential a lot on this channel. So I feel like it's easy sometimes to get caught up in who we think somebody is. And sometimes we get a little bit blindsided when they show us who they really are. Now, I keep coming back to this healing card, almost as if like they haven't done the healing or the work to be what it is that you need, and their potential that you're wanting them to be is on the other side of that healing. But we can't force other people to heal, right? We can't force other people to reach their potential or to love themselves or to do better. For us or in any other way, the only thing that we can do is make decisions that align with protecting our value and our worth and making sure that we are loving ourselves first. And I feel like you're trying to do that, but I feel like there's almost this indecisiveness between like, I know what, because I feel like you desire that what this connection could be, right? But then it's almost like you have this reality of like, but is that even possible? Like, is this person capable of that commitment or capable of being who it is that I know they can be, but you know, they've shown that they're not. And I feel like you're kind of stuck in this middle ground of like, I don't want to miss out on what this connection could be, but I also can't continue to keep, you know, being in the place that this connection puts you. And I think that that's where the unfinished business kind of comes from, is it probably feels like you reached like a almost point, right? Like it's like, oh, things were good, we were on the right track, and then like something happened and you're like, well, if things would have gone a different way, then it would have really worked out. Like if this person would have handled that differently, or if they wouldn't have done those things, then like this was fine. And I feel like that's where you're like, I don't know. It's like you're juggling what you want with like the doubt that it's possible in a way. Okay, Sagittarius is side of this connection, which is a really hard place to be, you know, seeing the potential in somebody, in the potential of a connection, especially when you're dealing with someone who you like know loves you or cares about you or wants to be with you, but like just isn't doing the work or like doing it to make that happen. That's hard. Sagittarius is side of this connection to the person they're dealing with. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Three of Cups in reverse. And then there's the Tower. So yeah, something went down here. And this Queen of Pentacles in reverse is kind of this energy of feeling really ungrounded, almost as if like you couldn't trust this person anymore because of something that happened. Like feeling a little bit unsafe in the connection. And this Three of Cups in reverse is kind of like this withdrawal. So it could have been your decision to withdraw here. But I feel like you didn't want to. I feel like that's the hard part, is you're like, well, I wanted this to work, or I want this to work, or I want this relationship, but like, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with this person's behavior. I can't deal with what they've done or whatever the case is. There's a song by Taylor Swift. I talk about her in my readings. It's called Better Man. And I'm not saying this has to be about a man, but the whole concept of this song is like, in the chorus she says, I miss you and I just wish that you were a better man, like just a better person. Like I think that it's hard when we find ourselves separated from someone that we truly loved, but we just wish that they were better and that they could do better and treat us better and put us in a better position within our relationships and our, you know, just how we're being treated. And I think that I know how painful that can be, but yeah, it just feels like something happened. And it was like, I don't know if your perception of the connection changed or your perception of the person changed, or like what, but I feel like there's still this like, but there was so much good that and that's what I feel like you're having a hard time with, is it's like maybe you miss them or you wish it could have worked, but you're like, but I don't know, like this person is just not who I want them to be, or like who I want to be with. Like if they would heal and grow and evolve, then like, yeah, absolutely 100% it would be perfect. But it's like with where they're at now, I feel like you're having a hard time with it, which is hard. That's really, really hard. And I know from experience how painful that can be. Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and then there you are, Queen of Wands. It's like you're just, no matter what, it just feels like you're not getting what you need in this connection. And maybe that was like a consistent theme, whether that be commitment or honesty or vulnerability or trust or communication or like whatever the case is. I just feel like no matter how much you gave, because this is this energy of lacking reciprocation, like giving more than you get. And I just feel like you got to a point where you were really fed up with that. But there's still this energy of like, but I just wish I wish they would just be different. Why won't they just be different? Why won't they just treat me better? Why won't they just show up? Why won't they just choose me? Like, and I feel like that's where this 2 of Swords is, where it's like you're kind of stuck in this just feeling as if maybe you can't fully close this cycle out, or you don't want to miss out on the potential or something. This is a tough space to be. It's one of those like stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's a saying. It's like, you know what's best for you, but you wish that wasn't the choice. I feel like that's what it comes down to. It's like, you know what the best decision for you is, but you're like, man, but I really don't want to not have this person in my life, or I really don't want to, be apart from them, or whatever the case is. But like, then there's this, but I can't be with them if they're going to continue to be or do these things or be like this. Right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius healing with the 9 of Pentacles. Two of Wands in reverse. You have the Hermit and the Knight of Pentacles. So it's obvious with the Two of Wands in reverse that this person is making decisions that don't really align with what's best for them. Don't really align with what aligns with them. Doesn't really align. And I feel like this has been a consistent theme for this person. It's like, when you're like watching, like the best thing I can, or the only thing I can think of is like watching a friend. And I'm not saying this is a friend, but just as this the example of the energy, but like watching a friend make decisions that aren't good for them, or like date people that you just are like, what are you doing? And like you can just, and it's hard. It's like you're watching this person make decisions that aren't good for them. And I feel like for a while, maybe you had this empathy, or you had maybe some understanding, or I don't know. But I feel like it's very obvious that this person is kind of struggling in their own world. And yeah, I do feel as if this is one of those situations where it's like this person has a lot of healing and growth that's necessary, because I don't feel like they're not making decisions that don't align with them in terms of just this connection. Because I feel like if you're like, if you would just choose me or value me or treat me well, like I'm willing to reciprocate. Like, I will give you all of that. And then some, like, I feel like you were so willing, but it just feels like this person wasn't. And I don't think it has anything to do with you. I feel like it has to do with the lack of like their capacity, right? Like the lack of their healing. And this Hermit is interesting too, because, and I kind of look at it, oh, well, I didn't even see that, but that's the Two of Cups in reverse. There's that separation. You know, this is interesting. I'm looking at the imagery in this photo, or in the card. You have the Hermit facing one way, which is this like reflection, like wisdom, making decisions from like a grounded, just solid place. And you have the Knight of Pentacles. It feels like the decisions that they make and the steps they take seem to be the opposite of like what might be logical. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like, and I feel like there is a lack of self-awareness here, or a justification. It's like they don't want to be self-aware because they don't want to have to take responsibility for the things that they're doing, right? People run from relationships and from the truth for so many reasons that have nothing to do with us. And I think that it can be really, really painful, because it can feel like, well, why don't you love me enough to like do these things or make these decisions, or, and it's like, well, they're not doing right by them, so they're certainly not going to do right by you. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. It's like you just wish that they were, I don't know, it's like you just wish that they would change, or not even just change, but just, I feel like you like them for who they are, you love them for who they are, but you're like, just do better, like make better choices. I don't know. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. This is the second time we're seeing this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I think that, you could be dealing with an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, but it's interesting, right? So over here, the first card we pulled for you is the Two of Cups in reverse. That Two of Cups in reverse came out here. The second card we're pulling, you had the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and then the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is coming out for them, and you have this Nine of Wands here, the Five of Swords. This is very much a victim mentality. A victim mentality. And the Nine of Wands is like the biggest thing that's holding them back. So there's this lack of accountability that causes them to make certain decisions. And I feel like that's where like you feel unsafe or insecure in this connection, because I feel like this person's behavior is so like the things they do are like might surprise you, but it's also very unsurprising. Like you're like, I should have guessed it. Like it's just kind of who they are. And I feel like they don't, but it's like there's no accountability. It's very much victim mentality. It's very much, and that's the biggest thing holding them back. I will say, I talk a lot on this channel about taking accountability for what's within your control, right? Especially when it comes to the role you play in your own suffering. And the reason that I'm so sure about that message is because that absolutely changed my life. I used to live in a world where I was always the victim. Everyone was out to get me, and everything that I did, I always had somebody else to blame. And I was miserable because there was no growth there. There was no lessons learned. There was nothing. My life never improved because I never improved. And when I started taking accountability for the things that I did, like even if I didn't mean to hurt people, or even if I didn't mean to do these things, like learning to take accountability and be like, okay, yeah, like I can grow from that, or I can change, or I can do better next time, or I can see where I messed up, or I didn't mean to do that, but now I know moving forward, and I think that when you don't know how to take accountability, it's because you don't know how to, you're not coming from this place of like, I'm here to grow and I'm here to learn, I'm here to evolve. You're coming from this place of I'm here to survive, which is where you can have empathy for people like that. Because I think back to, who I was when I was making those decisions, and I wasn't trying to, like I said, do these things, but I didn't, it was like, it was protective survival mode. And I'm not justifying this person's behavior and saying like, you should just forgive them. But I am trying to let you know that it has nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of your value or your worth or who you are as a person or what you're deserving of or what you're capable of. None of it. It's a reflection of where they are at on their healing growth journey and how they lack the capacity to be able to show up not just for you, Sagittarius, in a better way, but for themselves as well. So there's so much more to this, and that's what I said. It's not black and white. It's not just they did these things and you know, to you. It's more they're doing these things because of where they're at in their journey, and those things affected you. Now, that's where we have to learn the difference between like unconditional empathy and love for another person and unconditional tolerance, right? Because we have to be able to say, okay, like this is who this person is, this is what they're capable of, I have empathy for them, or I understand why they do these things, or, you know, they struggle to love themselves and that's why they do this, or this, that, and the other thing. But at the same time, that does not mean that it is okay for you to tolerate that behavior. And I feel like that's where, you know, it's hard for you to maybe accept that like this person is at where they're at. Like this is just who they are. They have shown you their true colors. They have shown you what they're capable of. And now what you're needing to do is take that and say, okay, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this so that I can attract better relationships in the future? Because if we, again, and that accountability thing can go both ways, right? Looking at it from this place of, okay, if I attracted this, there must be something in this for me to see or learn or heal. I'm not saying it's your fault or that you deserved it, okay? Certainly not saying that. But with this mirroring in the Three of Swords, it feels like there's something that this person is bringing up in you that needs to be addressed and healed. That is part of the reason why I feel like this has been so painful. I feel like it's digging up old wounds too. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. It's like I keep getting this vibe that you're just watching this person and going, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, I don't know. It's so interesting. But there just seems to still be this attachment here. Okay. The Magician. Oh, the Magician in reverse, King of Wands upright. So there's fire sign energy. You could be dealing with fire sign. 8 of Swords. Oh, King of Swords could be dealing with an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. That's all but Earth. It could be dealing with Earth too, though. You know, the Magician in reverse is this energy of lacking the tools, like lacking what it takes, basically. And I've used this analogy in readings before, but it's like, you know, someone saying, I want to go run a marathon, like I'm going to go run a marathon, but then like not doing any training and then showing up on marathon day, like they're going to fail, right? There's no way in hell that person is going to make it through a marathon, because that's just, it's not possible if there's no training or like some base level of training. And I feel like that's what's so hard, is like this person does desire love, but then they do things that goes against their ability to receive it. And that's where I feel like this 8 of Swords really comes into play, is they're kind of trapped in this reality of not having what they want when it comes to love and relationships. And I feel like it's like, well, people always leave, or, you know, I'm always the victim. And it's like, but they're not doing anything to better themselves or their situation to be able to give and receive love in a healthy manner. You know, I've been in a lot of relationships before I met my husband, and not even just romantic ones, but friendships as well. I, for a very long time, had absolutely no idea how to have a healthy relationship, and I didn't have a healthy relationship for most of my early adulthood and pretty well into my 20s, and really until I met my husband. And you know, it was always, oh, but there's something wrong with this person, or they did this to me, or that happened, or that, and until I was able to go, you know what? I'm the common denominator in these relationships. And that doesn't mean that other people are, completely innocent and that they didn't play a role, but I got to figure out what's going on that causes me to act this way. I talk a lot in these readings about, and I've talked about this before, how the reason I like showing kind of both sides of these types of connections is because I've been on both sides. I've been on the side that, was chasing somebody to do better, and I've been on the side that was not really doing that great in relationships. And on both sides, there was healing that needed to be done. I was kind of on this side, and then I did a little healing, and I ended up on this side, and then I kind of found my ability to give and receive love in a healthy way. But, when I was dealing with kind of like running from connections and making decisions that weren't the best for me, I was really, truly struggling with myself, and it never had anything to do with other people, ever. And I think that that's what you're needing to understand, is it's almost like this person lacks the capability to be what you need, to be what you deserve, to be what you're looking for. It's not that they're, I guess they're technically choosing to do these things because they're choosing not to heal. But, I think that we can probably all relate to this in terms of not just romantic relationships, but like friendships or family relationships. You're dealing with someone where you're just like, why won't you just do the work? Go to therapy. Like, oh my God. And it's hard because you're like, I just know how much better your life would be if you would heal, or if you would change, or if you would grow. But when somebody is choosing not to do that work and not to do that healing, they are doing that because they don't want to face themselves. They don't want to, it's really hard for people to admit that they're doing something wrong to others, because that means that they will have to look at themselves for who they are and admit the kind of person that they are. And most people don't want to do that. So they allow their ego to construct this version of them that they present, which sometimes we have a tendency to believe that version of them, but then those true colors eventually come out, because nobody can pretend to be somebody else for forever. So I do feel like there is, as I say in pretty much every single reading, a deeper purpose behind this. But I, at the same time, feel like as you're moving forward with this connection and with other connections in your life, understanding that when you make this decision to say, I am deserving of more than what this person gives me, that is a valid decision, and that will lead you to better. You can be 100% certain that when you are making a decision saying, I'm deserving of more than what this person gives me, you do not need to feel guilty about that. But it's hard when we have that empathy for where people are at, right? But you also have to have empathy for yourself and what you're deserving of experiencing in love too. So, all right. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. You have mirroring with the Three of Swords. We're going to dive deeper into this connection, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you desire and deserve on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.